Lord Jesus Christ. Good evening.
Good evening.
This evening in St. Luke's Gospel, we heard about two miracles. But my focus this evening is not going to be on the miracles. It's going to be on crowds of people. St. Luke tells us that the crowds almost crushed Jesus as he followed Jairus to his home to help Jairus' dying 12-year-old daughter. And on the way there, a woman who had been incurably hemorrhaging for 12 years came up behind Jesus and touched the tassel of his cloak. And her bleeding stopped immediately. Jesus asked, "Who touched me?" And everybody denied touching him. And Peter thought he was being quite unreasonable, saying, "Master, the crowds are pushing and pressing in upon you." Jesus insisted, "Someone has touched me, for I know that power has gone out from me." Let's stop the story right here. Crowds, crowds, and more crowds. Who were these people who flocked to Jesus to see him, to hear him teach, to be healed? The stories we heard today of the healing of the hemorrhaging woman and the raising of Jairus' daughter from the dead occurred well into Jesus' public ministry. Jesus had already been preaching throughout the land. He'd already given his sermon on the plain to multitudes of people. He cast demons out of the demonically possessed Gerasene and drove them into the swine who drowned themselves in the lake. And shortly after he healed the hemorrhaging woman and raised Jairus' daughter, Jesus preached to at least 5,000 people and fed them through the miracle of the fish and the loaves. Crowds and multitudes of people. Where are all the crowds and multitudes today? Look around you. Look to your left. Look to your right. Look in front of you. Look behind you. The pews are not full. There are pews that are empty. Each of us knows people. Sons, daughters, siblings, husbands, wives, friends, and neighbors who are no longer here for any number of reasons. Where are they? Some have passed away. Some have moved away. Some attend other parishes. And then there's the Easter and Christmas crowd, as well as the wedding, baptism, and funeral crowd. Others have gone to Roman Catholic parishes near their homes. A few have become Orthodox or perhaps Protestant. And not a few have joined the ranks of the nuns. Not N-U-N-S, but N-O-N-E-S. Those who check off none of the above when asked to give their religious affiliation. They have left their faith behind. A recent study by the Pew Foundation revealed that church attendance has been declining continuously in recent years. Where are the crowds flocking to hear Jesus and the gospel here at St. Thomas? To be healed by him in the holy mysteries of reconciliation and the anointing of the sick, to be nourished by him in the mystery of mysteries, the Holy Eucharist. My brothers and sisters, many in our day have turned their back on God, only to turn inward to themselves. Many have turned away from God, complaining that Christianity is based on superstition and mere myth. We are too advanced for this religion stuff, they protest. And I think that, my brothers and sisters, is an easy out. It goes much deeper than that. Many people grow up being what Protestant minister Kyle Idleman called fans of Jesus. In a piece that he wrote, "I am not a fan of Jesus." Now, what does Idleman mean by a fan of Jesus? Do you know anybody who says, "Jesus was a nice guy, but I don't know about this turning the other cheek business"? Or Jesus was a moral leader, but get real. Church has no business in the boardroom, the bedroom, or the battlefield. The bottom line is that Jesus' fans like, admire, and some may even think that they love him, as long as he doesn't interfere with their lives. And when we turn away from Jesus, not wanting him to interfere with our lives, we're actually turning inward. We become the reference point. We become our own God. I am right. I want what I want when I want it. I don't need anybody. I'll decide for myself. You could go to you know where for all I care. Do what you want, just don't tread on me. When we look to ourselves like this, we get more than a glimpse of hell. Jesus teaches us that the way to the Father's kingdom, on earth as in heaven, is through giving of ourselves to our brothers and sisters. And so Jesus may have a lot of fans, but he has a lot fewer followers. It's a lot like when Jesus walked the earth. Thousands came to hear him speak. Many more walked away and were nowhere to be found when Jesus walked to Calvary, was crucified, and died. Even after his resurrection, people were slow to become followers. So what about today? Church membership and attendance is declining in the United States. It seems like a lot of fans, the loosely affiliated, are leaving the church. But a closer look at the numbers tells us that not all is gloom and doom for Christianity. Looking at the longer picture, church membership and attendance in the 20th century peaked after World War II, and current church membership and attendance is much like it was in the early 1900s. And a closer look at the numbers, at today's numbers, shows that most of the decline in church membership and attendance is with baby boomers and the early elderly. Church membership and attendance has held steady and possibly slightly grown for the millennials. It's always lower for young adults, but it hasn't dipped that much. It's actually slightly gone up. So these people are more strongly connected to God and the church. And judging from the number of teens and young adults and young families at Uniontown over Labor Day weekend, and the young adults attending the young adult convocation in New York last August, this is no surprise. So brothers and sisters, we need to ask ourselves, are we fans or followers of Jesus? Do we see and believe, like the hemorrhaging woman, that with Jesus everything is possible? Do we appreciate that Jesus continues to empty himself for us? Do we accept the call to be like Christ, emptying ourselves for others? Reach out, like the hemorrhaging woman, to Jesus in his word, in the Eucharist, in the sacrament of reconciliation. We have a choice to be fans like most of the people who heard Jesus preach, or to be his followers. To be a follower is to be willing to take up the cross and walk the road to sainthood, living the Beatitudes. On November 1st, our Roman Catholic brothers and sisters observed All Saints' Day. In our church, we celebrated the Sunday of All Saints on the Sunday following Pentecost, last June. On these days, the church celebrates the followers of Christ. At the young adult convocation, Metropolitan Archbishop Boris of Philadelphia paid a surprise visit. He implored the 50 young adults not to be discouraged. He told how at the fall of the Iron Curtain in the Ukrainian Catholic Church, there were down to 30 priests in all of Ukraine. Today, there are 3,000 priests in Ukraine. And remember, Jesus began with 12 core followers. Imperfect as they were, one even betrayed him and had to be replaced. And out of this core group formed the one holy, Catholic, and apostolic church. Like the hemorrhaging woman, receive Christ's healing power. Follow him and become a disciple. Like he told the hemorrhaging woman, your faith has saved you. Go in peace. Be a man or a woman for others. Bring them the healing love of Christ and the good news. Glory to Jesus